Sheik was one of the best characters in Smash 4. She's very fast, having both excellent mobility and frame data. She has a strong combo game, she has a great recovery. She has the ability to camp out her opponents with needles, and she even had KO setups. Sheik in general was a character who could play her own game by utilising her quick speed and strong moveset to take on her opponent. Sheik did suffer from being a light fast faller, making her die early and be vulnerable to combos. She also has low raw damage output, and she has unspectacular raw KO power. But even with all that, Sheik was one of the best characters in Smash 4. But here's the thing, the Sheik I just told you about is the version of Sheik in the final version of Smash 4, after she saw many significant nerfs. Sheik was once considered to be the best character in Smash 4 at multiple points, despite receiving nerfs in almost every patch. But I'm here to talk about the absolute best version of Sheik in Smash 4 history. This is the original unpatched version of Smash 4 on the 3DS. This version of the game was definitely interesting. There was a lot of crazy stuff in this version, and Sheik was no exception. Sheik was insanely busted in this version, to the point where she was not only probably the best character in this version of the game, but she might have been just as, if not more broken than Brawl Meta Knight. And if you think I'm over-exaggerating, sit down, because you're in for a treat. The vanilla version of Smash 4 3DS was only around for 9 weeks before the game got patched, with the game being exclusive to Japan for a third of that time. Not to mention that most people had to play on one of these things. I love the 3DS, but it was just not good for Smash Brothers. Because of this version of the game never got the chance to be optimized, which I think is a big shame, because this version of the game is extremely interesting and cool, differing a lot from the final version. What I'm trying to say is that Smash 4 was in an extremely early point in its metagame when this version was widely available, and this version of Sheik never got pushed to her full potential. But I'm here to explain why this version of Sheik was an absolute monster, and why she absolutely would have been a problem if people had more time to push her to her limits. Before I continue, I just want to make a few disclaimers. I'm not going to explain what was changed with Sheik in every individual version of Smash 4. I will be explaining what changed between the vanilla 3DS version and the final version of Smash 4, although I will mention things that did not make it to the Wii U version. The 3DS version will almost always represent the vanilla version of the game, of course, but when I show off the Wii U version, default Sheik will be used to represent earlier patches, while green Sheik will represent the final version of the game. I will be comparing kill power and Final Destination 3DS and Battlefield on Wii U, as their blast zones are the most directly comparable. Also, these two bozos weren't in the vanilla version of the game. Not that it matters, because vanilla 3DS Sheik was better than both of them, but I'm still mentioning it for completion's sake. Sheik's attributes were pretty much unchanged throughout Smash 4's entire life, with Sheik always being a fast faller with incredible horizontal speed. There was one attribute which changed, however. Sheik was originally heavier. In earlier versions of the game, Sheik weighed 85 units, the same as Zelda, while in the final game, she only weighs 81 units. While not a huge difference, Sheik being heavier was definitely helpful overall, mainly allowing her to live longer. Additionally, in the vanilla 3DS version only, you could LSI vertical launching moves, something which was removed in the Wii U version. A TLDR on this is that this meant that combo starters and vertical KO moves were worse, which in Sheik's case allowed her to live longer and avoid combos more easily. As a practical example, Sheik's up smash in later versions of the game can just about kill Mario at 110% with optimal DI, which is just holding away. On vanilla 3DS, however, you can hold down and away to swipe Sheik's up smash as late as 120%. Now logically, these things would make Sheik's own combo game and KO power worse, but
this is where the fun begins.
Sheik's ground moves are mostly the same in vanilla as they are in the final game, but there are a couple of exceptions. Sheik's down smash was actually buffed, receiving more knockback in the final version. In the final version, it kills Mario at around 150% from center stage, but in earlier versions, it didn't kill him until over 160%. But that's the only buff Sheik got. It's nothing but nerfs from here on out. Sheik's down tilt was originally stronger, dealing 7.5% as opposed to 5% now. Its knockback was also slightly higher, although not by much. This made down tilt a scarier combo starter as it dealt a chunk more damage, especially since Sheik's aerial follow-ups in vanilla 3DS were stronger. But
we get there when we get there!
Not a broken move in any version of the game, but it used to be slightly better overall. Those were the only ground moves which were changed, with Sheik's great forward tilt staying intact for the game's entire lifespan. But vanilla 3DS Sheik did have an additional trick up her sleeve, which would be removed in all later versions. If you are familiar with Brawl, you probably know about dashes. You do a dash attack, cancel it into an up smash, and some characters go whee! Including our girl Sheik over here. The reason I'm mentioning this is because Dacus was kept in the vanilla 3DS version, and one of the characters got the most out of it was Sheik. While Sheik's Dacus in vanilla 3DS didn't go quite as far as Brawl, it still covered a pretty long distance, and Sheik's up smash is a strong kill move with great vertical range. This made Sheik's up smash a considerably scarier move, as it was not only a better approach option, but it also gave Sheik combos and even kill confirms which would not work without a Dacus. But I'll mention some of the kill confirms later. Dacus made Sheik's already strong and scary combo game even stronger and scarier. As great as this was for Sheik, there was just one problem with Dacus. The execution. Sheik's Dacus is a frame perfect trick, and performing a Dacus is significantly harder than it is in Brawl. If you were using a normal 3DS, it's borderline impossible to do. Forget about it. But even with a new 3DS or even an external controller, it was much harder to pull off than in Brawl, due to various differences in Smash 4's input system. I myself just can't do it at full speed, even as someone who has Dacus many times in Brawl. But there were people back in the day who could perform and even utilize Sheik's Dacus in real matches, and I think with more time, they absolutely would have mastered it. Dacus is overall an extremely difficult yet powerful technique in 3DS Sheik's arsenal, which unfortunately never made its way into the Wii U version. I'm still upset about that, Sakurai. I miss Dacus. I would move on to aerials next, but I feel like I absolutely have to mention this first. Bouncing Fish is a fantastic move for Sheik, being a great recovery tool, a great approach option which can be very difficult to punish on shield, a decent KO move, and a great combo ender. The move is fairly strong and Sheik has ways to combo into it for KO confirms. A huge upgrade compared to turning into a bottom tier character, that's for sure. But as good as it is in the final version of Smash 4, here's the thing. It was even stronger in the vanilla 3DS version. In all Wii U versions, Bouncing Fish kills Mario at 166% from the middle of battlefield. In the vanilla 3DS version, however, it kills him at 146% due to dealing more knockback.
Yes.
One of Sheik's main combo enders for kill confirms killed even earlier in vanilla 3DS. This means that she can kill confirm off Bouncing Fish even earlier, and it also means that at times where good DI could save you from a kill confirm on Wii U, it would not save you on vanilla 3DS. As an example of the former, Nair Bouncing Fish kills Mario from the battlefield ledge at around 90% Wii U, with no DI. In vanilla 3DS, it killed him at 80. This is just insane. Sheik has multiple ways to combo into Bouncing Fish, and on vanilla 3DS, it had a considerably higher chance of just killing you. But that's not all, because Bouncing Fish had another trick on vanilla 3DS which never made it to Wii U. Bouncing Fish can be ledge cancelled.
Yes.
If you whiffed Bouncing Fish close to an edge, don't worry, you'll just slide right off if you spaced it right. You might even grab the ledge straight after. On platforms in particular, this allows Sheik to use Bouncing Fish as a pretty strong movement option, as she can do a Bouncing Fish to cover a good chunk of the stage quickly, have no lag, and then apply mix-ups to the opponent. This is honestly quite a cool and fun technique, and it is a shame that it never made it to the Wii U version. But it was, and Bouncing Fish still remained an excellent move regardless. Bouncing Fish was just incredibly insane on vanilla 3DS, and while I am moving on from it, it's going to come back. Don't you worry. Sheik has a very strong set of aerials in the final version of the game. With the exception of down air, which has never been good and has never been changed, her aerials are very fast and they all have solid uses, whether that's for comboing or killing. But surprise, surprise! 3DS Sheik had even better aerials. I'm shocked at this revelation. Nair is the same move on paper, being super fast and a general fantastic combo starter. The difference, however, is that in vanilla 3DS, Bouncing Fish is an even stronger follow-up, due to dealing more knockback. Not only that, but in vanilla 3DS, Sheik could also do Nair Dacus as a kill confirm. Nair Dacus is naturally infinitely harder than Nair Bouncing Fish, and the up smash sweet spot could be avoided with good DI, but it could kill a fair bit earlier than Nair Bouncing Fish, depending on the stage position. Back air is a frame-full aerial with great range and overall low lag, making it a very useful move for edge guarding, or to quickly hit an opponent. In the final version, the early hit deals 7% on Sheik's leg and 8% on her foot. In earlier versions, however, the move dealt 10% on Sheik's leg and 11% on her foot. That's 3% more on all the hitboxes. The main effect this had is that it made back air kill way earlier. From center stage, back air sweet spot doesn't even kill Mario at 200% in the final game, but in earlier versions, it killed him under 160%. That is an enormous difference. The move could kill off stage under 100% without too much trouble, and when you combine that with its super fast speed and great range, it was just too much. The crazy thing is that this actually did make it into the Wii U version, where it stayed for around 5 months. But now let's get to the areas that did not make the transition from 3DS to Wii U. Let's start off with up air. Up air is a fast aerial with good range, making it a rather solid combo ender. Up air had one extra hit on vanilla 3DS, making it deal 8% instead of 7%. That is nice, but it also made the move easier to DI, which kinda sucks. Especially since you could LSI vertical launching moves in vanilla 3DS. But that doesn't make up air worse, because luckily for 3DS Sheik, the last hit of her up air was quite a bit stronger. In all later versions, the last hit on its own kills Mario on the ground at 199% with no DI. But on vanilla 3DS, it killed him at 174%. That is quite a significant difference. Even with optimal LSI, it still kills earlier than her current up air does with optimal DI. In other words, Sheik's up air killed earlier while most other characters' up airs killed later, due to the LSI differences. This naturally made up air an even stronger combo ender. Ignoring DI for the sake of simplicity, F-tilt up air for example could kill Mario at 110%. On Wii U, it doesn't kill until around 130%. I'm noticing a pattern here, but let's move on. Sheik's forward air is another great move. Being a fast move with great range and solid combo potential, you are not going to believe what it was like in vanilla 3DS. Was the move stronger than it is now? That's correct! Air deals 4.3% or 5% in the final game, depending on if you land at close range or far range respectively. In the vanilla 3DS version, it dealt 6% or 6.8% depending on range, in addition to dealing a bunch more knockback. Forward air deals more damage and knockback in vanilla 3DS. I would have never guessed! The sweet spot at the ledge kills Mario at around 176% on Wii U and at 148% on vanilla 3DS. But some of you might be thinking, if forward air deals more knockback, doesn't that make it a worse combo tool? It is true that forward air is a worse combo tool at higher percents, but honestly, it's still better overall. The higher knockback might make it a worse combo tool at higher percents, but it is also a better combo tool at lower percents. Not only that, but the higher damage and knockback in general makes this move much stronger as a follow-up, an edge guarding tool, or a combo ender. The higher power and fair meant that Sheik actually had kill confirms into forward air at higher percents, which is kind of scary to think about. There's also one kill confirm I want to talk about. Their bouncing fish. On Wii U, this kills Mario at 7% to Nair bouncing fish, around 90% from the battlefield ledge.
Alright. I said, alright.
On vanilla 3DS, it kills at 70%, what? The higher damage and knockback on fair, plus the high knockback on bouncing fish, equals pain. From center stage, this combo can kill Mario 105%. I'm starting to see the problem here. Two of Sheik's main issues in Smash 4 are raw damage output and kill power, and both of these things weren't really problems in vanilla 3DS. Fair having this much damage and knockback never made it out of 3DS, but there were other things that were better with this version of Fair. The sweet spot had more range and more priority, which overall made it considerably easier to land. Fair was nerfed on 3 separate occasions, and even though all of the nerfs were impactful, forward air still remained a very strong move for Sheik. Sheik's grab game is pretty good in Smash 4. Her grabs are all very fast with very low ending lag, and her forward and down throws are pretty good combo throws. Now imagine if her throws were even better at leading into combos, and Sheik's combo options were a lot stronger. That's vanilla 3DS Sheik's grab game. Forward throw and down throw both have considerably less knockback at higher percents, which allows them to set up into combos for considerably longer. Forward throw has a slightly lower launch angle, while down throw has a slightly higher launch angle. The lower knockback on these throws meant that they could combo into 50-50s and maybe even kill confirms for considerably longer. The follow-up Sheik could get does depend on the opponent's DI, but she still had multiple options for a pretty long time. These throws actually kept their lower knockback until after Bayo was released. So what made these throws even dumber on vanilla 3DS? Well, it's the fact that all of Sheik's follow-ups are stronger, allowing Sheik to kill out these throws earlier. Down throw up air can kill as early as 110%. Forward throw bouncing fish, dead at 95% at the ledge. Forward throw fair, you're at 125% and now you're dead. Sure, the opponent had more freedom with LSI, but if they LSI'd in the wrong way at the wrong time, they could die in situations where they potentially could have lived. Far fewer characters had 50-50s and kill confirms out of grabs in vanilla 3DS. Due to multiple combo throws just not existing yet, the higher blast zones on 3DS, and LSI existing for vertical launching moves. And here's Sheik, a character who had pretty powerful 50-50s and even kill confirms out of grab, even with the different LSI system. And if she grabs you on a platform, may God have mercy on your soul, especially if she has rage. Oh god, I don't even want to think about that. This character was just so much and we're not even done yet. Good god. Before I talk about needles, I'll just mention that Sheik's up B was a little bit stronger and had a slightly bigger hitbox. It killed around 3% earlier. Nothing significant, but it was a thing that was better about Sheik in earlier versions of the game. Now let's talk needles. Needles are a great tool for Sheik. They charge quickly, They have transcendent priority going through everything. They travel faster and they travel far. They are overall a very strong projectile in Smash 4, and they allow Sheik to keep out numerous members of the cast quite effectively. Aerial Needles could also lead into a bouncing fish or a kill confirm. So, what was bad about Needles in earlier versions of the game? Well, first of all, Needles lasted for 2 frames longer, which made them travel quite a bit further. They cover around half the stage in the final version of the game, but in the past, they covered around 2/3 of the stage. This naturally made them even better at shutting down the opponent's approach, to the point where some characters could just not approach. This naturally made them an incredible projectile, which was very hard for some characters to play around. It also made Needles a better edge guarding tool because they went further. You could also slide off ledges with Needles, which notably meant that you could throw a needle and have no lag. Now, these things did make it into the Wii U version, with the longer duration on Needles sticking around for quite a long time. But there was one more thing this move had going for it in vanilla 3DS, which did not make it to Wii U. Throwing Needles had 6 frames less ending lag on the ground. This had multiple effects. First of all, it made the move an even more powerful camping tool, as the Needles were safer to throw out, and Sheik had more time to approach or retreat after throwing her Needles. Second of all, it gave her Needles better combo potential when used at close range. In the final game, Needles have pretty limited combo potential on the ground, even at close range. But in vanilla 3DS, you'll see. At around mid-percents, she could get follow-ups like a jab, a forward tilt, a dash tag, or even a dash grab. At higher percents, however, brace yourselves. She could combo into bouncing fish and kill you. You got hit by Needles close to the ledge at 105%?
You will die.
Needles interfere at 125% near the ledge? That kills you too. Needles dackers at 95% facing away from the ledge? Lol, you DI'd wrong and now...
Die.
Needles bouncing fish can also work at further ranges, which is, fun. If you're the Sheik. This character is just a constant string of insanity. And one last thing. Air Needles into bouncing fish kills earlier, due to bouncing fish being stronger.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Overall, vanilla 3DS Sheik is easily one of the most broken characters to ever be put in a Smash game. A very fun character, but a very broken one nevertheless. Let's see what we've got here. We have a super fast character with amazing mobility and frame data, a great recovery, an overall incredible moveset, great damage reaction potential with a strong combo game, a highly effective grab game, some surprisingly strong KO moves with numerous powerful KO setups, excellent edge guarding, and a projectile, which both effectively keeps out numerous members of the cast and has combo potential into KO moves. This character quite literally has almost everything, with her only real weakness being that she is a light fast faller, which doesn't really matter much. Sheik is a top 5 character in the final version of Smash 4, and pretty much every single one of her key tools is worse than in the vanilla 3DS version of the game, sometimes significantly worse. Even the strong tools which are still the same on paper are still worse, because they do not have as effective synergy with the rest of her kit as they did in vanilla 3DS, or even earlier Wii U versions by extension. Sheik's damage and KO power were gutted, and she still turned out just fine. It just goes to show how insanely overtuned she originally was. People like to talk about who the most broken Smash character of all time is, whether that's Brawl Meta Knight or Smash 4 Bayo, but they do not talk about the original 3DS version of Sheik, when she was absolutely up there.
Thanks for watching,
guys.